Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Infinity here. So, if you're wondering why I'm wearing glasses, you might want to check out last week's vlog. It'll be at the end of this video, but speaking of last week, I mentioned about how I nearly died. Now, some of you may be wondering, wait, what? What happened? What the fuck? Excuse me? So, here's the deal. The past few months, I've been complaining about having acid reflux. Like heartburn, acid reflux, whatever the heck you want to call it. I've just been having it. I had a bad experience the first time I took medicine for it because I took some medicine for it and then I suddenly gained weight to the point that I had stretch marks suddenly all over my stomach. That's what happened the last time I took some. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't want stretch marks on my stomach. I don't want to deal with that. I don't know why they suddenly appeared like a few days after I started taking my anti-acid medicine regularly. I think it was Zol something. But I just didn't want to deal with that. I just didn't want that in my life. So I just instead decided to suffer through the acid reflux. Like if I ever had it, I'd just suffer through it and deal with it like a normal person. I'd just be like, well, time to die. But then a week or so ago, I went to the doctor because I was having this pressure inside of my stomach. And the doctor tells me, oh, you probably have a stomach ulcer and your acid reflux is making it worse for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, okay, now here's some medicine. So he's like, here's some medicine. This one will cause some pretty instant relief. Then he shows me a second one and he says, this one, however, will provide you long-term relief. And I think that he told me to take I think it was Zantac, so I'm going to call it Zantac. He said, take the Zantac like once a day, and then do that for a week, then start taking the omeprazole for once a week. Omeprazole was the second medicine he gave me. Now, I'd been on Zantac before because that's what gave me that sudden stretch marks everywhere, but I've never been on omeprazole before. My mom got me some over-the-counter omeprazole before, but I lost the bottle for it, so I never actually ended up taking it. But this one was prescription strength, so it was going to work out well. And I'm pretty sure the doctor told me at least, take the Zantac and then take the omeprazole at the end of the week. But my mom went and picked up my medication for me because she has some sort of like card or something to help with getting medicine. And she says that the pharmacist said to take to take both in one day. And I'm sitting there like, I'm pretty sure the doctor told me to just take the Zantac. Oh well, I guess I'll take both. And so I take both, and I'm shipped off to work. I get to work, and I'm doing my job. About half an hour in, I'm like, man, I feel really weird. About 20 minutes later, I'm like this. I'm like, what's going on? You know how after you run or jog or do some sort of exercise, your heart starts beating really fast and you feel a bit like clammy because you've done all of this work? That's how I felt. And I've been doing nothing except for bagging groceries. All I do is do this for a living since I'm a cashier. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, something's not right. And I have holes in my memory from this entire experience, so I'm filling them in based off of what everyone else has told me so far. What my manager said is that I went to the bathroom. What Eugene told me is that I texted him and was like, hey, what is the medicine I took? And I apparently looked up the the side effects of taking the medicine. And then I told him, come pick me up. And my manager let me sit down back in the back. And apparently my manager was like, are you sure it's not your new glasses prescription or something like that? And I'm like, no, something's wrong. Then Eugene comes to pick me up. Eugene comes into the store, helps me out, and I assume we get in the car and get home. But when we get home, Eugene's helping me out of the car, helping me get to the stairs, and then I just start falling. And then I just land on the ground. And then I remember this part. I remember being on the ground. Because I don't remember getting to the ground, but I remember opening my eyes and I'm on the ground. And so Eugene ran up. So Carlos just popped in and I don't remember where I left off. And I hope that the camera is correct because I have no idea. So let me get back to where I got dropped off at home. So Eugene's helping me, like I have my arm over his shoulders, helping me get to the stairs, and then I start falling. And thank God Eugene was there because Eugene fell with me, like very slowly, so I didn't end up hurting myself when I fell. And then I remember opening my eyes and I'm like, what's going on? Why am I on the ground? And I'm like intensely crying and I'm shaking and I'm trying to pick up my glasses because they fell off of me. And I'm just like trying to get up, but I can't move my arms at all. Like my hands are just going like this against the ground. And then Eugene and my mom come rushing down the stairs and they carry me to the car. And then I lose track of my memory again. Apparently, according to Eugene, I fell asleep on the way to the hospital, and Eugene was panicking the entire car ride over to the hospital. He kept like checking my breath. He's like, is he okay? Is he okay? And it was very emotional for him, but I'm really glad that he was there and he was helping me out because that was terrifying at the time. I couldn't react to it, but I was scared. I was just freaking out internally. But I was asleep. Eugene's constantly checking to make sure I'm still breathing. We get to the hospital. Eugene helps me out of the car, and Eugene's like, hey, do you want to sit down? And I'm like, I want to sit down over there at this bench. And Eugene's like, okay, let's go to the bench. And then I keep pointing at the bench and keep trying to walk over there. And Eugene's like trying to help me, but I just keep pointing at the bench instead. And then my mom comes out with the wheelchair from inside for me. Then my memory is just gone again. I don't remember what happened after that, but I remember I'm in the hospital room. God, what even happened after that? I got in the hospital room. I know they ran all sorts of tests on me. I don't remember a lot about what they were, but I do remember I kept asking for my phone, and then Eugene told me that I asked for his phone at some point because I wanted to listen to music, and I literally picked up his phone, listened to one song, which was Save Rock and Roll by Fall Out Boy. That's a pretty damn good song. And then I just gave it back to him and was like, I'm done. I'm just like, what? I'm just so confused by a lot of my actions because whenever my memory was there, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on with me? I still don't feel right. Something's wrong. And they give me an MRI. They, like, take my blood, do a urine sample, do all of this sort of stuff for me. And I'm there for, like, 5 hours or something. And then I'm finally starting to get back to my normal self later on when they put this IV in me and start filling it with liquid or something like that. That's when I finally start, like, getting back to normal where I'm like, oh, hi, yeah, I exist. What's going on here? So the doctor tells me that he's not sure if I fainted or had some type of stroke. Now, I know what a lot of people think, because a lot of people keep trying to tell me it wasn't a stroke. However, there are different types of strokes. There are mini strokes, temporary strokes, all sorts of types of stuff. And they, like, strokes and fainting fall under this specific medical term that I don't remember what it was, but that's what the doctor told me, that I either fainted or had some type of stroke. However, because of my altered memory, my inability to move, my, like, blacking out, my elevated heart rate, Oh, right, I forgot to mention that. Oh, right, I did mention how my heart was moving really fast earlier, but when I got there, I had an elevated heart rate. And because of all of this stuff, he was more led to believe that I had some type of stroke instead of just feigning. You can't tell, but there's this tiny dot here. That's from where the IV was put in me. I still am having a few issues with my memory, though. I went to the dentist at some point, and they gave me a shot in my mouth, and I completely forgot that that happened. And so there's this hole in my mouth where they gave me the shot, and I'm just like, where did this hole come from? And then it's the same thing with this IV hole. I looked at it and I was like, what is this thing? Is this a tick? And I took the scab off and I'm like, oh my god, what did the tick do to me? Because there's this yellow outline around the area. But no, that's just from me getting an IV and them taking blood from me. And I was just... My memory has been a mixed bag the past week or so, but hey, I'm alive, right? The funniest thing for me was Eugene took my doctor's note to work because I just suddenly left from work, and they knew something was wrong with me, and I was like, I need to go home. And they're like, okay, go home, because they could tell something was wrong with me. But I had Eugene take the doctor's note there, and Eugene's like, yeah, Donovan, like, passed out on the ground in front of his apartment. And my manager just goes, ugh. I just thought that was funny. But yeah, this has been a video about I didn't really almost die, but it wasn't exactly a good time. It wasn't exactly the best of times. So I'm here, still making videos. Also, there's going to be a new series showing up this week, finally. If you guys follow my Twitter at all, then you'd know that I've been playing the game Prey. So expect that in the coming week. More Night in the Woods, more Persona 4, all that sort of jazz. But I wanted to thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you guys later.